This is the story of living simply in Sicily. Why don't you come along with us and sing along the way? If you had a favorite group that you used to sing with, try and imagine you can still hear them now.
Hi, I'm Gigi.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're living simply in Sicily. Thanks for joining us today. Because we're under lockdown again here in Italy and we can't travel, we thought we would take you with us around the world to different countries where we have wonderful friends. We wanted to share their experiences over the past year of living under this pandemic.
We have friends around the world, several of them, that were kind enough to answer these 4 questions about the experiences they've had personally in the countries that they're in with COVID. And the 4 questions are as follows. In your country in the past year, have you had lockdowns such as the red zones, etc.? And please define what that includes. And how have COVID restrictions or non-restrictions affected your daily life, including job, travel, that type of thing? What have you done under lockdown to cope with the situation? And what, if any, positive outcomes have you had and have been able to appreciate?
Those are good questions. Have you ever wondered about those?
So, honey, what countries are the people, our friends, what countries are they in?
Well, we have Dave and Sandy from Chile, and we have Jessica and Brenton from Australia. So we have some wonderful experiences ready to go. Roll the tape.
Hi, so I'm Brenton.
Jessica,
We're
Julian.
And Julian. We're from Melbourne, Australia. So COVID's obviously been an interesting time in all of our lives. In Australia specifically, we've been fairly lucky, being quite isolated. In total, we've had 30,000 cases and only 900 deaths as of current. The government locked down all international travel as soon as it started a year ago, and no one has been allowed in or out of Australia except by special exemptions. We had the first and second waves initially, and the lockdowns associated with that, which placed many restrictions on where we could go, how far we could go from our home, as well as where places we could visit. We could always do groceries, but there was panic buying for a while when a lot of grocery stores were quite empty with a lot of everyday items because people were hoarding these items and panic buying. We could go to work. Majority of workplaces were forced to go to work from home situations. Except for certain key industries that required people to work on site rather than from home. And this we of course couldn't see people, we couldn't have visitors, we couldn't go out with friends. Hospitality venues were strictly takeaway only. But fortunately it's all resolved, and now we've got effectively no new cases other than hotel quarantine international arrivals, and there is no community cases at all at the moment, so we effectively are free to live our lives as we would normally would, with certain minor considerations such as mask wearing in indoor environments at grocery stores, and certain space limitations in internal venues. But otherwise, life is fairly back to normal for the last few months, particularly in some parts of Australia which are a lot more less densely populated. They've effectively had very minimal impact. For myself, I work in construction. Work-wise hasn't been affected. It's one of the key industries that kept going, and we've spent most of the year focusing on our little newborn over here and adjusting to parent life.
So this was actually one of the positives of COVID. I mean, not positive, but it was good to be able to just be home, not have that pressure to have to be out for things. Like we just had to be home we basically had a strict lockdown throughout our entire winter. Stage 4, was it stage 4 lockdown? Where we just couldn't leave the house except for essential services like work or going to the doctors or going shopping. But yeah, as Brenton mentioned, all those restrictions have been lifted now. We basically, apart from wearing a mask, we basically have no restrictions anymore. We do try to be cautious, but most things, even gatherings like big gatherings, are back.
Hello everyone, this is Dave and Sandy from Chile in South America, and we, like everyone, have been experiencing the challenges of COVID-19. Sandy, why don't you give them a little update on what our experience this past year has been?
Our experience was in March, of course. It was very bad here, so they closed basically the whole country down. They closed the borders, they closed, demanded masks, and also had military out. And so we were not allowed to go out of our homes and had to have passes and everything to go out of our homes, which has eventually got better. We were allowed to, there has always been a quarantine though, from 10 o'clock until 6 in the morning. You're really not allowed out of your homes at that time. You must have a reason for being out of your homes at that time. So we continue going on, and now it has turned bad once again because the numbers have gone up and we are back in quarantine. We are in phase 1, which they say you're only allowed out of your homes 3 times a week with, and you must apply online for a permit to go out, and that's grocery store, doctor, or an emergency situation. So it is quite complex, rather than like the United States that have pretty much been opened up to everything. So
Yeah, and I think that what we appreciate here in Chile, they've been extremely aggressive on procuring the vaccines. In fact, by June, the 5 primary vaccines will all be here, and they believe they've already procured enough to vaccinate every single citizen twice. So that makes us feel pretty good about the opportunity. It's free here. It's available to us even though we're foreigners, and that's been a good thing, a positive thing. We love living in Chile. It's a central California climate. We live in a condominium right on the beach, right on the ocean, looking down on a typical rocky shoreline. It's a dry climate and been very suitable for what we were looking for. And we appreciate too the fact that we've had a lot of protection for us. As older ones, as 60 plus, there's a lot of things they do here in the country to show consideration for us, including allowing us to shop at special times. But you can't go into a store without having your temperature checked, having a mask on. They will check you and sanitize your hands and grocery carts, etc. all the time. So that makes us feel good. We also love it here because we live 45 minutes from one of the major wine regions. Most people recognize Chile as a very large wine producer, and we've enjoyed being here for that reason too. And of course the fact that the weather's been perfect. Our little 900 square foot 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment suits us just fine. And one nice thing here is you can easily rent furnished places. So we've enjoyed it very much, and we're just doing what everyone else is doing, trying to stay safe, trying to follow the guidelines, and do everything we can to care for ourselves and show our love of neighbor. So that's Dave and Sandy from Chile.
bye.
Bye.
So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the program. We hope you were encouraged, and we hope wherever you're living during this pandemic that you're safe and healthy. So thank you to all of those who participated. We appreciate and love you all. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.